Hello everyone and welcome back into this new video. Today we're gonna be talking about how to IGL, who is the IGL, and how to do it in ranked. For those who don't know, I am Leonard. I've been top 150 Radiant and I've played on a professional tier 2 level. Let's jump right in. So first of all guys, I wanna talk to you about who is the IGL and what is important that he must do. The IGL is the one who leads the team to victory by allowing the team to execute a plan together. It's really important to have an IGL because in a 5v5 structured game as Valorant, it's really important to have teamwork in order to increase your chances of winning each round. But be careful guys, an IGL is not someone who micromanages for people. It's just someone who gives an idea that can be more precise or more general. There are two types of IGLs and IGLing. Now, the two types of IGLs and IGLing are the, let's say, system IGL and normal IGL. The system IGL is the one that is present in the competitive pro scene and in maybe some premier, invite, and contender level. So here the IGL has a really specific role. He is the one who builds protocols, which is something that we're going to be talking about later on in the video. He builds strats before the match. He prepares all this before the match, so everyone on the team, even before the match, already know what is the plan and how they're supposed to play. And then the IGL mid-game manages the rounds, does the right calls that they have prepared before, depending on what the enemies are playing, what is happening in the game, are we winning, are we losing. So depending on everything that is happening right now in the game, he decides that what round they should do and maybe changes some rounds and comes up with solutions in case they're experiencing troubles mid-game. But what I'm gonna be focusing about more in this video guys is about the IGL in ranked, because I believe that the most part of you are people that play ranked. I wanna quickly talk to you about my Discord server. When I started playing Valorant, it was full of people looking for groups and duos, so I always had someone to play with. But as the hype died down, I had no one to play with. I just had to grind it through solo queue, which we all know how it can be pretty annoying. Also, I always wanted to ask for some feedback, share some clips, talk about some topics that I knew I could improve. And that's exactly why I created this Discord server, to build a community full of friendly people who want to improve and help each other out. I'm personally in the chats every day answering questions and talking with you guys about different topics. We do offer dedicated coaching, but the server is completely free. Come say hi, tag me. Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the video. Maybe they want to guide the team, since guiding and IGLing in ranked will, believe me, increases your chances by ranking up and by winning by a ton. It's something that I do too, and when I go ranked, I try to IGL, I try to be positive and give my team an idea, so that even if maybe I'm not top fragging, or even if maybe my team mechanically is worse than the enemies, we still end up winning because of this. The IGL in ranked is more of a, let's say, vibe manager. And you cannot, guys, this is really important, because I see some IGLs in ranked and they try to come up with complex default rounds in 15 seconds, micromanage their teammates, do that, and then do that. It's not about micromanaging. It's not about coming with something complex. It's more about just giving more of an idea on how to do it and maybe come up with protocols, but easy protocols, not difficult. Again, I'm gonna be talking about them in a second. It's really important anyways to have a general idea, because what you have to know is that doing something together, even if it's a wrong call, is better than not doing anything together at all. Now, before we talk about what are protocols and mid-rounding, I want to first talk to you guys about the PMAR, PMAR, which is divided into pre-round, mid-round, after plant, and retake. So starting from the pre-round, the pre-round is the time before the barriers drops. It's the period of round before the barriers drops. In that period of time, which is about 30 or 45 seconds in the pistol round, you have to explain more the round logic. So what I mean is, for example, if always check your team's economy is really important, and this is something that you have to do in the pre-round, okay? And for example, you see that not everyone on the team can buy. So what you should call is, for example, hey guys, let's save this round so we can buy next. Okay, don't just say let's save this round. Give them a, let's say, purpose. Give them so they understand better. Okay, we should save now because then we will buy next round. Because someone might think, why should I save when I have money now? Okay, and that's exactly why you say now so that later everyone can buy. And when everyone have money, it's much better. Because if only you have 2 free vandals, you're just wasting your money and it's not enough. And then next round, the same thing is gonna happen because those guys that bought the vandals in the past rounds will not be able to have their vandals in the next round in case you lose this round. Also, in the pre-round, what you have to do is check the ultimates, your teammates' ultimates and the enemy's ultimates. The ultimates are really important and make it much easier for you to predict and to come up with a plan. For example, if you have Killjoy ultimate, you can easily come up with a plan as, hey guys, let's go A, let's try to take short with Omen or Breach Sun, and then let's Killjoy ult A and end up hitting A side from that. Really easy plan, but this already is something that you came up thanks to the fact that you checked the ultimates, you knew that you have Killjoy ultimate, and you said, okay, we have Killjoy ultimate, let's do this, it's easy, together, and everyone can understand what's the logic of the round, and everyone can execute it. Now, as I said, it's not only about when you have ultimates, but it's also about when the enemies have ultimates. Why this is important? For example, if your idea, hey guys, let's try to hit A. Yeah, you called hit A because maybe their A side is weak and you think that it's really easy, will be easy for you to get the side. So let's say that you end up closer to A side, and let's say that you even take it. You take the side with the right smokes, take the side, you plant, right, and maybe someone stays under, one stays default, one stays short, one long, and maybe breach died. Okay, so this is how you're playing right now. You also noticed before that they have their Killjoy has ultimate. So what you might be thinking now is that, well guys, we can go A, but the problem will be that when we take side, they're gonna Killjoy ultimate retake us. So what should we do here? When we know that they can counter us, we just come up with a plan that can counter their plan, right? Now, it sounds maybe a little bit difficult, but to counter something like this, it's pretty easy. The only thing you have to do is to either play aggressive here, so have your Omen save the flash, and when the Killjoy ults, he can flash this, and your teammates can try to fight this area to destroy the Killjoy ultimate and caught the enemies by surprise this way. Or what you can do, which might be safer and probably the best idea as well, is to lurk instead of just staying long or short. Just lurk. After you have your teammates getting the side, instantly go for a lurk and then try to from here destroy the ultimate and maybe even get a kill. If you destroy the ultimate, it's really important, and you didn't get a kill and you didn't die from Omen, it's really important you don't have to die. Because now, once you have destroyed the ultimate, these guys right here, right, they're gonna be, oh wait, one is behind us. The guys, your teammates inside, are gonna be free to stay side and try to trade each other as best as they can. And now these guys are gonna find themselves in a sandwich from where they will not be able to fully concentrate on retaking because they still will be thinking about you being in the back. So that's the only thing you have to do, just take time. Because guys, after you have planted the bomb, your goal is to make it explode. It's not about killing them. So this is why the pre-round is so important. Also, in the pre-round, call a round, which again can be really easy. Maybe you're just guessing. Ideally, you have to just be analyzing what is happening, and based off the enemy's composition, based off ultimates, as I just said, you have to think 2 steps ahead every time. Guessing will definitely still help because maybe sometimes you will get lucky, sometimes it's just better to do something together, as I said, but it's not gonna be enough. And I suggest you guys to divide the pre-round like this. The start of the pre-round, I usually check the economy, the ultimates, 20-25 seconds are left, I usually call the round. When around 10-15 seconds are left before the round starts, I usually get into position. And 5 seconds before, maybe if there is need to adjust, I call for some adjustments, I adjust myself. If not, we just ready in position to execute the plan. Now, let's talk about a protocol, which I think that you guys should be trying to call and execute in ranked. What is a protocol? A protocol is basically a rule. So for example, if they push A, then we just regroup everyone and speed up, go C. This is a really good protocol, really easy. Why? Because if they're fighting and pushing A, this means that they have at least 3 or 2 people on that side and that the other part is weak. Because in defense, you cannot have all the sides at the same with the same strength. Some sides are gonna be weaker, some sides are gonna be stronger. And in the stronger sides, people usually fight. They prefer to fight more, they're not scared to fight. And in this case, if they're pushing, you can already understand that this is the stronger side, and based off that, you go C, okay? This is an easy protocol that you can call. In the default round, you can say, guys, let's start default round. If they push A, let's just speed up C. If that happens, your team already know what to do. So a protocol makes it much easier for the IGL in the mid round because he's not gonna be needing to explain everything and even think about a solution because he already came up with it. The protocol allows you to do less micromanaging. A default round, by the way, guys, is a round in which you play contact. You are not really fighting for anything aggressive. You are just there to take information, see what the enemies are doing, and try to get as much map control, as much information as you can. Another, for example, protocol that I can come up with is a man advantage protocol. So, for example, guys, man advantage, it's really important, right? And let's say we end up here, they end up fighting, and they end up killing the Killjoy. Killjoy is dead. Now it's a 4v3. It's a man advantage. The protocol in a man advantage situation is freeze and hold. Because if we have numbers, we have to stop pushing. We just have to hold our angles and wait for the enemies to make a mistake and walk into our crosshairs. They will need to walk into our crosshairs, they will need to make a mistake, because as defenders, if they don't, then they will much more probably gonna lose the round. Because as I said, in defense, it's already difficult to distribute yourself. And if you already are in a man disadvantage, then you will need to get a kill. You will need to do and go for a play to come up and raises your chances of winning the round. Good IGLs, they call strategies, but in my opinion, better IGLs, they try to use as many protocols as they can. Now, let's talk about conditioning. What is conditioning? Conditioning is making enemies think that you're gonna do something that you already did in the past rounds. So, for example, a condition can be you hit A twice in a row, and on the third round, you fake A. So, enemies and generally people, they get used to plays that you do. If you do the same play more than once, that they're gonna be already expecting it, and they're gonna be automatically thinking that you're doing the exact same thing you did the past rounds. So when you push A twice in a row, you are planting a condition into the enemy's minds that you like to push A, then when you go A, you do this. And they're already gonna be expecting that. They're already unconsciously gonna be over-rotating and saying, oh, it's again an A rush. But in reality, it's just a fake. When you will do it and will go A just to fake, they will over-rotate to A and you will get the C side for free. And these guys that are faking do not need to die. They just make noise, so these guys get scared, they over-rotate, and then maybe one of them dies, that's fine, but the other rotates. That's the best thing that can happen. Really important. Conditioning, guys, is the key of winning the games and winning more rounds. Now, let's talk about the mid-rounding. The mid-rounding, guys, first of all, what I want you to understand in the mid-rounding is that information is key in this part of the round. And space equals to information. The space, don't take it to kill, but take it to know where the enemies are or aren't. The mid-round in this game is really situational, and it's really hard to predict. And it's the most difficult part of the game. And it relies completely on IGLs and how good he is at IGLing and at reading the enemies. My advice to every IGL here, guys, is to imagine yourself as defenders. What would I do if the attackers were doing this play? So if you're the attacker, imagine the defense. What would, if you were in the defense, what you would have done? What would you do? Okay? And based off that, call the play. So if in your mind, okay, now I will probably rotate to A, then just say, okay guys, let's go towards C. Let's take mid control and end up splitting C. Because you have to be thinking about what the enemies are doing, not only about what you're doing. That's why it's really difficult to IGL. Also, there are two different types of mid-rounding, guys. Predetermined and adaptive. The predetermined mid-round is again based on a protocol, but it rarely happens because you have to exactly predict what the enemies are gonna be doing. An example of predetermined mid-rounding can be, let's start from a default round and then end up A. So you start from a default round in the early start of the round, and then in the mid round you end up A. That's a predetermined mid rounding. But again, it's really difficult because what if the enemies end up pushing A, as we said earlier? In that case, ending up A would be stupid. In that case, you have to adapt, and which comes the adaptive mid round, and go C, okay? Which is the most common thing. You adapt. It's really important to be able to adapt to the enemies, to the situation. A lot of the times, a lot of people end up playing bad some games because they are not able to adapt themselves to the enemies and to the playstyle, to the composition that they have and that the enemies have. That's why in ranked, a lot of people are inconsistent. It's not only about the aim, it's also about adapting and being able to adapt, to analyze. This game is actually much on a deeper level than just, you know, oh, let's rush, let's just go there, or let's just default. There is much more into it. One rule that I want also to give to you guys is to IGLs, because I feel like the IGLs are the ones who talk the most in the mid round, is to mute themselves when one of their teammates are in a clash situation. I mean, you don't have to mute yourself, just don't backseat, talk to him, okay? In case there are some important, really important information that you have to say, as last is here or last is 1 HP, don't say anything. Let him focus and let him play. Now, let's talk about the last part of the round, which is the afterplant and the retakes. So both of these are conditioned by variables and what happened in the round, obviously, but they also can be predetermined or adaptive. As I said, a predetermined afterplant is what I shown you guys earlier. This was a perfect round. For example, you start a default round, it's a predetermined round, you hit A, everything is going well, you are in the afterplant, and you know their killjoy has ultimate, and predetermined in the afterplant you decided to fight. So you said, guys, in the afterplant when killjoy is gonna ult, let's fight this area. Omen maybe can smoke here, and you together just fight this with Omen flash. This is a predetermined afterplant. It also can be adaptive, or you can also just have basically no idea on how to play. That's what happens in ranked. As attackers, we have to take into consideration different things. For example, do we have a lurk and we should just stall them? So we have someone lurking and we should just take as much time as we have in the afterplant so that he can come up and kill them from the back. Or what are we holding? Also is important. Are we playing crossfire? Are we able to trade each other? Do we have number advantage or disadvantage, right? Because if you have number advantage, you can play maybe safer, right? If you have number disadvantage, you have to play a little bit more aggressive. Try to get a kill CT maybe and then go back. Do they have a smoker? Because if they don't have a smoker, then we can just play long and short and don't make them defuse the spike. We don't even need to fight for the site. As soon as the spike goes down, guys, I want you to think about 3 things. When the spike is planting already, if you're done planting, already start thinking about where do I want to position myself and what I want to do. This is basically all that you have to know for the attack side. Now in defense, it's much easier because in defense you basically cannot micromanage. You don't have to manage basically anything. In defense, you can come with ideas and rounds as let's fight A, let's push mid, let's just play default. That's something that you can call obviously, but it's you can micromanage less and it depends less on you compared to attack side. In defense, also what you can do is take into consideration and try to predict where the enemies are going and try to call for rotations of your team or of yourself earlier before the attackers end up hitting the site, or ask to play retake. You can also call, hey guys, can we push mid and let's play retake A with killjoy ult, right? That's also a good plan. That's a good idea because you don't care about them taking A, so you focus on taking another part. You trade the space, you trade the map, which is really strong and which is something that you guys can definitely do. If you're not strong enough to take the space, just retake it afterwards. Because when you call around, even as taking A, check what abilities do they have. Do they have, for example, Breach and Sova, which will make super difficult for you guys in case you have like Jet, Killjoy and maybe Gecko, right? If you have these 3, it will make it almost impossible for you to take this area because you don't have abilities to fight for this area. Jet cannot even run as Neon towards the A space faster or stun it. Killjoy doesn't have anything apart maybe a molly which they can easily destroy. When they can easily stun you, they can arrow, they can also smoke here, right? But you don't have anything like that. And that's why you have to either retake it, so they take it, right? And then you together try to maybe Gecko pick, Gecko flash, and you together pick and retake long. Or what you can do is trade it. So if they take A, you take C, or as I said, take mid. Now, one of the last advice that I want to give you guys is, for example, if the attackers, they planted the spike, but they have a lot of abilities. In that case, you have to retake in waves. For example, so what I mean is don't instantly retake together, instantly rush all in. Try to bait them for abilities. So try to make them think that you're retaking when in reality you're not. And maybe try once without flash, Omen can flash, then maybe you make noise, maybe you try to even pick here, but then don't actually go out. Wait, they use the abilities, and then actually hit the site. Actually retake as a force together with many people. With this, guys, we have finished this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it has been useful to you guys. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.